now we're back to our studios here in Paris, where I'm joined by Randy Yaloz. He's an attorney and president of Republicans overseas in France. Thanks for joining us here on the program. Now, what we've seen during this Republican National Convention, we've seen a balancing act. We've seen speakers portraying Trump as the law and order candidate. We've also seen them trying to soften his image a bit, make him perhaps more palatable to moderate, swing, undecided voters. Is that balancing act key to the GOP strategy here during this convention?
I think it's part of his strategy, and I think it's important because if you look at the various polls, even from the Democrats' side, 64% are undecided, don't say which way they're swinging. And I think it's because also people are very, very discreet about taking a position, but there will be major swing voters even on the Democrat side, and they're seeing what's happening across the country, the violence, etc. And I think that they're going to make a major choice on what's happening based on the events that are occurring. And I think our president, Mr. Trump, is making an excellent argument on law and order, and I think Kenosha is the perfect example.
But if Republican speakers, they've also been trying to soften his image. There were lots of women speakers on Wednesday night, for example, people of color who were also speaking on earlier nights of the convention. Doesn't that show that Republicans also do feel the need to kind of moderate that law and order message, that it can't just be full-on law and order?
The Republican convention has to reflect the full spectrum of Republican supporters and independent swing voters that want to hear what the position, the stance of the Republicans will be for the following 4 years. And Trump represents the Republicans going forward. And it's excellent that he's been able to allow various people from all different sides of the spectrum to be able to present their positions, how they feel, where we're going, their experiences. And I think that's important to give Americans the opportunity to see where they're heading and where they will be in the next 4 years.
Yes, and Trump, Pence, other speakers we've just been discussing, they've been denouncing this unrest that is sweeping American cities in the wake of this most recent police shooting in Kenosha. They've been condemning this unrest, but at the same time, it's happening on Donald Trump's watch, hasn't it? What will change if he's elected to a second term? It's already happening right now.
You're saying, again, you're mixing a situation whereas various situations in cities and states are under the control of either the mayors and the governors. They're in 95% control, and it's only with the approval of the Wisconsin governor who is a Democrat, if you don't forget, and I think that's a very important point, is that the Democratic governor approved and even increased the number of soldiers. Initially started with 250 soldiers from the National Guard. He went up to 500 to reestablish law and order. So I think the issues there is that it's the local government on the state and the city levels that are in key control. And where we're seeing major issues is especially in democratic cities and states. And we're glad to see that a Democratic governor is being responsible and is working closely with the Trump administration to establish law and order. And his votes will surely go up because of that position, I'm sure.
All right, now let's pivot to another issue, which is the coronavirus pandemic. The U.S. nearing 180,000 deaths, nearly 6 million cases. But that crisis seems to have taken a backseat to these other issues we've been discussing, unrest, the economy. Why isn't the coronavirus front and center for the GOP?
I think the coronavirus has caused enough grief on the economic, personal level for many Americans. The loss of lives, suffering has been occurring. And the Americans are looking forward to rebuild their future from different standpoints, from social standpoint, from economic standpoint. And I think that's what they're looking to for a leader. They're not looking to, as we have in Europe, again, spending hours and days worrying about corona. Today, the statistics say that there's a very, very low fatality rate compared to the virus as it was in March or in April. So we're not looking to the same type situation that we were looking at 4 months ago, 3-4 months ago. So today, I think we need to look at where we're heading. And I think the Americans want a president that's going to say, this is what we're going to be doing. The coronavirus is there. A vaccine is pretty much on the way to be established in the next 2 to 3 months. And there's lots of news, encouraging news, and there's been a lot of support by the Trump administration providing a lot of American money for that. So I'm very, very proud of the American administration regarding that. And I think what's important is to focus on our recovery.
All right. Thank you so much, Randy Yaloz, for joining us here in our studios here at France 24. He will be joining us later on in the program as well, so do stay tuned for more.